going everyone? It's Kenneth here, and today I'm going to speak about growing or starting seedlings indoors. And the reason I wanted to speak about that was because we've had our tomatoes in the polytunnel for quite some time now. I think it was in May. Let me just double check. We transplanted our tomatoes out at the end of May, 22nd of May basically. Basically, we still have loads and loads of tomatoes growing, but they aren't ripe yet. And part of the reason I think is because we don't have seriously hot summers here in the UK, or very bright for that matter. We had a really good start to the summer, probably like 3 or 4 weeks of really good sunny warm weather all the time, and I would say for the last month it's been absolutely rubbish. It's been rainy, it's been windy, it's been cloudy. And tomatoes need some warmth and some light to ripen. So we're basically stuck with all these tomatoes that aren't ripe yet. So we'll probably get loads and loads ready to go all at the same time in, I'd say, a month or so. That's not a problem. We'll do something with them. We'll either make tomato chutney, or we could blend them up and make a tomato-based sauce to keep in the freezer and use whenever we want to. But I think that if we start our tomatoes in January indoors, we will be able to plant them out after the first frost, which is about the end of February or the beginning of March here where we live. So we'll get our tomatoes in the ground 2.5 months basically earlier than what we have this year. So hopefully they'll be two and a half months ahead of where they are now. And then that's the idea anyway. So I've done a bit of reading. So what you need to grow tomatoes indoors. So they need 2 things to grow successfully inside during winter. Light. So indoor tomatoes require 12 to 16 hours of light a day. Even plants in a sunny window or in a greenhouse may need a few extra hours under grow lights during winter's short days. And the second thing is heat. So indoor tomatoes grow best when the air temperature is between 65 and 85 degrees Fahrenheit. And that is 18 degrees Celsius to 29 degrees Celsius. That's really warm, and it rarely gets to 29 degrees Celsius here in the UK. I mean, it does, but not all the time. At the moment it's about 22 degrees Celsius today, which is 71 Fahrenheit. So basically I don't want to grow tomatoes indoors over winter, but I want to start them early in January, and the only way we can do that is indoors under grow lights. So I have come up with a little idea to give a go, and I've basically used a shoe rack from a company called Argos. This is no endorsement on them, it's just something that you can get from them. I'll show you a picture of one, more or less what it looks like, and I've built it slightly differently, and I'll show you that in a few minutes. And a light like that. It's basically a 20 watt LED light, and it's got a color temperature of daylight. It gets incredibly confusing and scientific, the difference between light and all that kind of thing. So I'll try to find a really good image to show put up and show you what the different light temperatures are. But basically, from what I understand, to start these tomatoes will need a certain temperature and something equivalent to daylight every day. Now that shoe rack cost about 20 quid, and this light cost about 20 quid, so that's 40 pounds all in all. You need to wire it yourself, and you need to buy a plug, which is not much, a few pounds. And so hopefully from next year we will start our tomatoes really early and get them out in the ground earlier. At the same time, I thought it would be a cool idea to try grow things indoors over winter. So things that are quite easy to grow, for example, like herbs. One of them I'll probably try is basil, and maybe some coriander or cilantro, possibly some parsley, some mint. Those can all grow in pots, and they don't need that much space, and just for an experiment it's going to be quite interesting. And then the other thing I'm going to give a go is salad leaves, because again, they grow really quickly, they don't need much space, and if we can put them on a trough on this little rig I've got set up, we might be able to grow salad indoors all year round, which would be quite handy, even if we just grow our greens, so like salads, herbs, things like that. It's worth a go, and then we might get some really good results. And if we don't, it doesn't really matter, because I'm using this primarily to start tomato seedlings in January, rather than, I think we started them in about March or February, something like that. But they were all started outdoors as well, so we'll see the difference between what it's going to be like indoors versus outdoors. Okay, so basically that's it there. I've modified the way I put it together slightly. So instead of having the slats going across for the shoe racks, or for the shoes, I've left the bottom one there, because that's where we'll put our base, or our pots and troughs to grow the seedlings. And at the top, I've mounted the light onto a couple of slats of wood, and it's loose. So basically you can start right at the bottom, in the middle, and at the top, and I think that's going to work really well. I've basically rigged it to a timer, and obviously I won't set that up just yet. I'll wait until I start using it, and you can see how bright that light is. It's really good. You might not be able to see it exactly on the camera, but it does almost mimic daylight quite well. So it's going to be quite interesting to see how that comes out. Okay, so another use for this little indoor setup could be to grow microgreens, and all year round if you wanted to, if you haven't got space outside, or even throughout the winter. And that's something I might experiment with as well. Although it's quite a time-consuming thing. You've got to have trays for them and quite a lot of seed. And it gets quite messy. I'm in a small little room that we don't use in our house, that I've sort of converted into a little sort of studio office sort of thing, where I edit videos and things like that. So it might not be that practical to do that, but I'm not going to show you how to build that thing, because if you buy it online, it gives you instructions, and you don't have to use something like that. I just we have one for our shoes here in our house anyway, and I thought, what, that's going to make a really easy, affordable setup. So that's why I've used that. You could use shelves. Even if you have a spare cupboard, you could mount something like that in a cupboard and grow things in the cupboard. You can do it against the wall. I'm sure if you mount that high up against the wall, or with a shelf coming out down onto a counter, it has the same thing. And that's probably even cheaper, because you don't have to buy the shelves like we have. So it's one of the battles we have in the UK really is dealing with our substandard summer. Although we have relatively warm temperatures, it's not always that sunny, and it's something that I want to overcome next year, and I think this is going to be the best way to do it. So what I'm going to do is I'll do updates over winter, show you what I'm doing, what I'm growing in here, so whether it's salad leaves or herbs or anything like that, and we'll see how it goes. So I reckon it'll be pretty good. So that's it for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed this episode. It would be great if you could subscribe to the channel if you want to carry on watching videos like this. Share this video with your friends and family. I'd really appreciate it, and I'll see you guys next week. Have a good week.